righty. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you very much for coming. And I'm really delighted today. I get to interview Alex of Zero to Epic, and we're going to talk a little bit. Welcome, Alex, all the way in Las Vegas. How are you today?
Good, I'm great. Thank you so much for having me, Tim.
My
So
pleasure.
excited to be on your show.
You're very, very welcome. We have a small audience, but if somebody is catching this and they would like to ask a question, I'd be delighted for you to ask that question in the chat box down below. I am live streaming this to my YouTube channel, so if you're watching this in the future, by all means put the questions down in the comments, and myself or Alex, I'm sure will pop by occasionally and just say hello and reply to your questions. So first of all, Alex, why don't you tell us, what is Zero to Epic? What is it you're actually going to do? And why are you being interviewed today?
Well, I will be crossing the United States of America coast to coast from Boston, Massachusetts on the East Coast to Newport, Oregon on the West Coast on electric scooters. That is the gist of the trip.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And which road are you going to be taking?
I'm going to be taking historic US 20, Tim, which, as a matter of fact, is the longest road in the United States. It runs exactly 3,365 miles. And yeah, it's one road. It was established in 1926. It goes through really small town America in the Midwestern United States. Starts in Boston, goes through, Ohio, goes to New York, uh, Ohio. We go through Indiana, Iowa, Illinois, Nebraska, Wyoming, Idaho, and ends up in Oregon.
Yes, indeed. I guess a little bit of
Yeah,
Yellowstone in there, right?
it's quite the journey, and it's an unusual route, but I'm really looking forward. It should be a beautiful time. I start later in April. On April 24th is the start date, and
That's amazing.
I'm excited. Can't wait to get on the road.
So I guess some obvious questions. How many miles per day are you anticipating being able to ride a scooter?
I think you're muted, Tim. I can't
Oh,
hear
I'm
you.
so sorry. Here, can you hear me now? Are you okay to hear
Still
me now?
muted.
Or? Oh, very odd. I can hear myself. Um, how about now? Is it possible that it's not me? Let's just see here. And we'll try it. How peculiar. How very peculiar. Let's see here.
All right. Now you're back.
Oh, I'm back. Hey, Kyle,
Yeah.
thank you. Kyle just showed up and said hello. He can hear us both, so that's good
Hey,
news.
Kyle.
Thank you. Kyle, by all means, hit the questions down the stream. So what my question was, how many miles per day are you thinking of going?
Yeah, I had to obviously try to set up a tentative schedule daily, right? So I have expectations of going a certain amount of miles, and those are dictated by the range of the scooters that I have and where I'm going to stop, because obviously I got to stop somewhere and spend the night and charge the scooters. So I'm going to say anywhere between 100 to 170, 180 miles a day, which, we'll get into speeds and all of that, but it's going to be about 6 to 8 hours a day on standing on a scooter for about 30 days.
What, 30 days?
Yeah. Hmm.
Wow, of course. I mean, you do the math on that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. 30 days. I mean, I got tired doing an eMove scooter review where I went 50 kilometers, which is about 30 miles, and I was exhausted on that. So, wow. Are you doing training? Like, how does that work?
I do. Ironically, I have to train for this more than people imagine. I've been on some really long rides. Obviously, the range of the scooters don't allow you to go more than, 30, 40 miles. Some scooters a little bit more than that. But what I have gets me about 30 to 40 miles. So I essentially do these training rides where I go out, come back, an hour and a half later, change scooters. And I've been on some 6.5, 7 hour continuous rides, just changing scooters, getting off of one, getting on the other.
Hmm.
But mostly I train at the gym. I actually go to the gym daily. And I have to train my legs, I have to train my back, I have to train my glutes. Those are the parts that hurt. But one of the things that I found, which was so interesting when I started doing long rides, is a lot of my scooters are finger throttle.
Right.
So, the finger actually is one of the parts that hurts the most, and my forearm. I never imagined it would hurt so much after, a 3, 4, 5 hour ride. So
Sure.
I actually work out, my forearms at the gym. So things you find out, and obviously there's no one really to ask about this stuff, right? Nobody goes on these crazy long rides
Yeah.
until you start hurting. But I do actually scooter training, you would call it.
Right. For sure. And
Mhm.
are you like making sure or ensuring that the scooters you're going to use have cruise control?
Yes, I do, and that is going to be a lifesaver.
Yeah.
I already tested it out, and really, I cannot imagine doing the trip if I didn't have cruise control. It
Yeah.
is it is such an amazing feature, and most of the scooters that I'm riding do have them. So yeah, I plan on using it a lot, hopefully.
So you're going to start in Boston, and then you're
Correct.
basically going to go. And if anybody's watching this, as I mentioned before, you go ahead and put questions down in the bottom for Alex. Because anyway, so moving along here, is there how are you going to do this? Like I'm thinking, like, do you have like a follow van with scooters in the back that you just sort of flip along?
Correct. That is exactly right. So I actually just reserved a trailer, right? So a
Hmm.
U-Haul trailer. I went to U-Haul this weekend. I said, what do you have?"
Right.
So it is essentially going to be a 6 by 12 trailer, which is good size. It will fit about, I'm going to say at least 8 scooters, in there. And then I do have a person that drives and either follows me, or if it's a road that's, they will cause too much congestion, they'll meet me 25 miles, ahead, and they carry the scooters. So and then we meet, 25, 30 miles later, and
Hmm.
I just put one scooter back in, grab another scooter out of the trailer, and keep going.
Oh, that's amazing. Really cool.
hmm
So I guess the obvious question, because I do reviews of scooters, is which
hmm
scooters did you decide on?
Okay, so there's some being added weekly, but I think I'm close to the final answer. One thing I've been fortunate to have is great sponsors. I mean, I didn't
Oh
imagine
yeah,
when
you've got. Show me your like. Here's my shirt.
yeah,
Show me yours.
so anyway, so I have some of the guys over here, some more to come, but some of the obvious are Voro Motors.
Hmm.
They have hooked me up with 3 Wolf Warriors, Cabo Wolf
Oh,
Warriors,
wow.
which is a tremendous scooter. It gives me great range,
Hmm.
very good speed. It's just a beast, right? So Voro got me that. So Cabo, I'll be riding Cabo scooters. I also have Apollo scooters. The Apollo guys have gotten me a couple Explorers,
Hmm.
and there is a Phantom coming, which is sold out just a
Yeah.
week or so ago. So they,
I haven't even
I,
had a chance to review the Phantom yet. It hasn't
I,
even
I know.
hit my shores, as it were.
I know one person that got it, and I called the guys at
Yep.
Apollo. Says, "Where's my Phantom? Is it coming?" And they say, "It's we're just getting it just right for you, but it's coming." So hopefully in the next week or two, I'll have the Phantom, which I'm so excited to take on the trip. Then
Hmm.
Fluid Free Ride,
Hmm.
uh, great guys out of Miami. They got me an Inochem Ox,
Oh yeah.
and they also helped me a little bit financially with the trip, which is something I really need, because scooters are great, but they don't pay my hotel, my fuel, my food for 30 plus days. Um, so I have the Inochem, and I just got Zero scooters actually came on board. So I have Zero 10X Limited, so I have 2 of them, which I can take. And just last week, Rev Rides, who is on your part of the world, kinda, they're
Hmm.
in the Pacific Northwest,
Hmm.
they came on board, and they're sending me a Zero 11X, which
Oh
is another
wow. A
beast of a
beast.
scooter.
It's a
Oh,
beast. It's the
it
one
is a
scooter
beast.
that scared the daylights out of me because
Okay,
I
I'm
thought I
looking
was
forward to that.
I thought I was in turbo, but I wasn't. So when I put the turbo button on, I almost got torn off the scooter. Steven's got a really good question here. He
Yeah,
said, "Why are you doing this, Steven?" Like, sorry, Steven's asking you,
yeah.
"Why are you doing this?"
I'll tell you. It all started sadly with the death of my father. and he was an environmentalist in Brazil, where I grew up, and he passed away this past November. And when I went to his funeral, I talked to a lot of friends and colleagues of his, and they told me all about that he'd done for the environment. He basically spent his life working on the preservation of the environment. And I started thinking about my own legacy. And I was, what am I doing to make the world a better place? And frankly, it wasn't much or anything at all. And I was disappointed. And I decided at that moment, late 2020, I needed to change that. And I wanted to change that. So I wanted to honor my father, and I wanted to just be a better citizen, a better person on planet Earth, and do something. But I didn't even have a cause, right? So I said, I got to do something big. I got to do something impactful to make up for all these years that I haven't been much of a recycler. So I said, you know what? I love electric scooters. I didn't own one, by the way. I just rode the shared ones, here and there when I went to Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, wherever, they had some of the shared ones. And I said, I will be crossing the United States on a scooter and promoting, clean commute. And so that's how it began. And on exactly January 1st, as we were going into the new year, I told my family. They had no idea, my wife and kids. And I told them, I said, listen, guys, I will be crossing the United States on a scooter. That's my 2021 resolution. And they all looked at me like, oh, this guy is just crazy, right? And that's how the idea began. And I did not own an electric scooter. I did not know anything about scooters. I just decided I wanted to do something for the environment. And now it's turned into this amazing, incredible, really enormous event with so much support, sponsors, and whatnot. But that's the origin of the trip.
That's amazing. Oh my goodness, that's absolutely crazy.
Not
Not even having owned one, that's incredible. So I guess my experience, because I happen to be a photographer and filmmaker, and I make these reviews, and I just use my cell phone for that. But my question then is, on April 24th, maybe when you're flying out there, are you going to vlog it? Are you going to record it somehow? Or you get somebody taking photos of you, taking videos of you? I mean, can you imagine, a Vora Motors or Rev Rides or somebody like that, you riding their scooter through like Yellowstone, or you're riding through the streets of Boston, or you're riding through the, coming up to the ocean in your maybe your penultimate stop, but eventually seeing the ocean in the Pacific Ocean in Oregon.
I get asked that a lot.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, if I'm going to live stream, if there's going to be footage, so maybe you can help me with this. Okay, I am not a tech guy. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not an influencer. I'm just a guy who decided to do this crazy trip, and suddenly people think I'm some, online personality that has all figured out, and I really don't. So I can barely turn on my iPhone.
Okay.
So if anyone, okay, I'm opening up the invitation. If anybody is tech savvy, wants to come join the trip, any filmmakers, any photographers want to come spend a few days with me, you're most welcome to come and travel with us. Just cover your expenses, fly yourself wherever you want to fly in, stay as long as you want, and just join the trip and take footage. I don't have a film crew, to answer your question. I bought a GoPro, which to me is like a foreign object. I need to learn what to do with it. I'll maybe mount it on my chest. But other than that, no. So if anyone wants to come, any photographers, want to be photographers, fledgling videographers, drone flyers, come on, let's go. Let's do this trip together.
I mean, that makes total sense, right? Is to reach out like that, and I'm delighted you've done that. I mean, especially if you happen to live within,
correct.
Route 20 goes a long way, 3,365 miles. It says on my notes here.
That's correct.
That's crazy. So, I mean, if people are living, somewhere in the middle of the States or in the beginning of their end, I think that makes an awful lot of sense. So I'm going to put up on my ticker here your website.
Please do it.
The website is, in fact, it's already been going for the last while. It's zerotoepic.com.
Correct. That's the website. It has the basic information about the trip. I even updated the schedule yesterday. But the best place to go is on Facebook. My Facebook page, which is facebook.com/zero to epic, ZEROTOEPIC. That's where I do most of the updates, and that's where anything that's new related to the trip, most of the updates will be going on there, videos, whatnot. That's the place to be. I also have Instagram. Instagram is my username is, as you can guess, zero to epic. So any social media, pretty much, you can find me at zero to epic, which will funnel you into my Facebook page, which is the place to be.
So I know there are a few people watching right now, and again, I invite you, if you do have any questions for Zero to Epic, by all means, type those into the chat below. And if you're watching this after the recording is finished, of course, go ahead and put those questions down below. I guess my next question is: so, how long you're thinking it's going to take? About a month? Is
Yeah,
that right?
I obviously I took the 3,365 miles and broke it down, and I had to take a map and look what cities were within what distance, right?
Hmm.
Logistically, Tim, this is a nightmare, right? This
Yeah.
kind of stuff. If I had thought about this trip before I decided to do it, maybe it would have never have happened. But once I committed, I had to do it. So I had to figure out, what cities are, within 100 to 175 miles, which is all I can ride in a day,
Hmm.
and try to figure out, then I stop in that city, and then once I go to that city, where is the next city coming along? Anyway, it took me forever to figure out, but I did day by day, and yeah, so it's so I came to the conclusion that if I ride between 100 and 180 miles based on my schedule, it should take me, I'm going to say, 30 days, and that's accounting for 1 or 2 days of bad weather or something happens that I, can't make it that day, or illness, sickness, thunderstorms. People ask me if I plan on riding in the rain. As long as it's safe, and some of my scooters have the rating to to ride in the rain, I don't have an issue with it as long as it's safe. Safety is obviously my primary concern. So even if I take a day or two off, and who knows, maybe there will be TV interviews in Chicago or Cleveland or wherever, some of these major cities that I go to, and I need to stay a little bit longer. But yeah, I'm going to say about 30 days is what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, I mean, I think I can remember I went to Yellowstone when I traveled across the United States. I was living in Toronto, and I moved to the island Victoria, Vancouver Island here in Canada, and we actually cut through the United States to get here. I thought it would be a little bit more scenic to visit, and Yellowstone had just opened up actually in the last week of April. And
Correct.
that's because they were 6 feet of snow at the top. It was crazy how much snow there was everywhere. It was just, but what a beautiful, beautiful part of the world. And seeing all those animals through Yellowstone was pretty amazing. But as you cross the continental divide, that the Rockies, et cetera, you're going to probably come in contact with some snow, I think. So,
Yeah, people tell me that, and also in upstate New York. I go through Albany and Buffalo. They say there
mhm.
may be some cold weather over there, but yeah, and then I'm just gonna make it right after the opening of Yellowstone, right? Because there isn't an exact date that Yellowstone
That's
opens.
right.
It
Yeah,
depends
I
on the
happened to be
weather.
there. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
it happened to open the day I got there, which is bizarre. They're like, "Oh, you perfect timing." I'm like, "Really?" Because of course
yeah,
it's nice and warm because you're at the entrance. Your altitude's lower, and then you
yeah.
climb
So
up into
I
Yellowstone. It's cold.
Yeah, I planned my trip in a way just to make it. I actually, at one point, planned on going earlier, but then I realized, thank God I did my research, that the Yellowstone wouldn't be open if I made it there,
Hmm.
in the middle of April. So I
Yeah.
pushed my trip back a little bit, and I should be making it there maybe a week or two after it opens. But I'm so looking forward to it. It's such a beautiful place. I've never been. I love, national parks, and I'm excited about riding a scooter. And one thing is going in the car, and I go through national parks in the car, but when you're in a scooter, it's like the ultimate convertible, right? You see everything. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
there's nothing in your way. You're just like riding, looking around, and yeah, can't wait for Yellowstone.
Yeah, well, I'm excited for you. I think it'll be really interesting to see, especially when you arrive in Oregon. You come right down to the ocean there. I think that'll be
Yeah,
really pretty amazing to see. Hopefully your family or friends and others, people watching your journey will come and meet you at your destination as well. But the actual journey itself just sounds remarkable. So you must be super
yeah.
excited.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I tell my wife, I'm like, I'm ready to go, like now. I have the scooters. I just looked at the trailer. I'm like, I just want to get this thing done. It's going to be beautiful. As a matter of fact, there are a lot of people. You know, seeing the country the way I'm going to be seeing it is wonderful. And meeting the people that I'll be meeting is going to be great. But there's a lot of people in the community, Tim, that are going to come join me
That's amazing.
on my ride. So, I start in New York and people are reaching out to say, hey, we live, however, some people live just right off of the 20, some people will be driving. And they're like, you know what, we're going to meet you wherever, so some people in New York are going to be meeting me and they're going to
Hmm.
ride however long they're scooters make it halfway. They'll ride 15 miles with me and then they'll ride 15 miles back. Or some people have cars following them and it keeps going. I have a group in Erie and not just scooters. These are EUCs,
Hmm.
e-bikes, e-skateboards. They have these, e-ride groups in these cities. So then in Erie, I find another group, which makes it so much more fun for me. And the whole point is to get the community involved and get all the people in the e-rides, micromobility community involved. And then show new people, right? That's what it's all
Right.
about. Not just preach to the choir, but show new people about the benefits of electric micromobiles, as I call them.
Well, I love the premise. I love the idea. I'm really encouraged that you're doing this. You're going to raise an awful lot of awareness. I do hope that traditional media come out and interview you along the way, and that you get even more support as you go along the way. I'm really curious. I'll follow you on Facebook and follow up. My as a filmmaker myself, I think if you've got a GoPro, I think that's a great starting point. And you know what? I would just keep it simple. Really simple. Like if you can keep the GoPro charged up and dump all the footage onto a computer every night, then I think you're laughing. And even if it's not necessarily going up live every day, maybe you can post a photo on your Instagram daily or something like that with your cell phone, and make sure people are included. So thank you very much. I really appreciate you taking the time to share with us all about Zero to Epic today, Alex. That was very kind of you. To follow you, as it was I mentioned, I'm going to put that down below here in the below part here. It's I'm going to direct them to the Facebook page and to your Instagram at zero to epic, of course,
Yeah,
at Zero to Epic. Thank you so much for taking the time.
yeah,
Much appreciated.
absolutely. Yeah,
And
thank you, Tim, for having me. And by the way, I don't know what the COVID situation is in Canada and if borders have opened up, but I extend you an invitation to come join me on my trip.
it's very
If you can
kind.
make it out of there, you're welcome. Come ride with us. Fly into, Boise, Idaho, or Bend, Oregon, and come see us.
That
Finish
would
up.
be a
But
hoot.
yeah, I'd love to have you.
We're not even supposed to leave the city right now. We're not even supposed to leave
Things are
it.
not looking good, but
Yeah. Although people are getting vaccinated now, so maybe you know what. I don't. I guess. Oh, I did have one question here before you scoot
yeah.
off, if that's all right. I'll just show it on the stream here. Kyle was asking, out of all the scooters you got sent, which one currently is there one that you like the best?
Uh, they're all different, Kyle, and obviously I have all these sponsors, supporting me. So I will plead the Fifth Amendment on answering that. And
Very
you know,
diplomatic of you.
yeah, I have to be. But frankly, I've tried them all. They're all different in their own way, and they all serve their own purpose.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I take the Wolf Warrior off road. I have knobby tires. I have a street off, street tire Wolf. The Apollo are great. The Enochem is fantastic. The Zero Limited, has its benefits, and the 11X. I can't wait to get on there.
Yeah.
Um, even if I wanted to, I mean, it depends on what I'm doing. Is really the honest answer to that. Is where am I going to go today? And then I pick the scooter based on that.
Absolutely. It totally makes sense. Scooter, what they say, horses for courses. You want to have the
Hmm.
scooter that's right for you.
Correct.
And it sounds like you're going to have a fabulous, fabulous trip and a wonderful experience. I'm looking forward to following up with you and seeing how things are going. I don't think I'm going to be able to leave Canada, but
Okay.
if that was something I could do, then I'll certainly pop down into Oregon or somewhere like that and say hello on the way through. Have an awesome awesome day. Thanks again for taking the time. And as I said below, guys, thank you very much. Make sure you're following. Make sure you're following Zero to Epic. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, you like these types of interviews, give me a thumbs up. I appreciate that. Leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care, and thanks again, Alex. Cheers.